Are you thinking of moving to Buda, Texas, but you're not quite sure which neighborhood's right for you? Well, in this video, we're exploring Porter Country, a new construction neighborhood in Northeast Buda by Milestone Homes. All of these homes are between $300,000 to $390,000. We're gonna get after it right now. Hey, Daniel here, your local Austin real estate expert. If you're thinking of making a move to the greater Austin area, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. I do a lot of tours, especially San Marcos, Buda, Kyle, South Austin area. So if you're thinking of making a move to that area, definitely subscribe. Check out some of my other tours on the channel. You know, I was a teacher for 10 years before I jumped into real estate, but how I operate hasn't really changed from that career switch. Honesty, effective communication, hard work, and just helping other people achieve their goals is still really important to me. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Love to help you and your family find a great home in the greater Austin area. All of that can be found in the description below. So where we are today is Porter Country. This is in Northeast Buda, definitely further out, more rural area out here, all by Milestone. So where I'm standing is right outside of their new amenity center. It hasn't been opened yet, so I couldn't get in. They're still finishing up the building of it. It's just a large pool and a covered awning is really all there is to see here. But what I'll do is I'll ask my editor now to just switch to a model home tour. And so you'll kind of see the inside of one of their floor plans, one of their most popular floor plans, as I'm kind of talking about the neighborhood. So for Porter Country, the incentives from Milestone is they're offering roughly $25,000 in flex cash. Really what that means is all your closing costs are going to be paid, so that's roughly $10,000. You don't have to pay up front, and they're going to pay your title and insurance policy. It's going to save you about another $2,500, okay? I will say for incentives, Milestone doesn't have the best in my opinion if you are not a cash buyer. If you're a cash buyer, these are pretty good incentives. If you, like most people, are financing, getting a mortgage, then you're probably more interested in getting the lowest interest rate possible. And so even though Milestone will be able to buy it down a little bit, you're probably not gonna get much lower than 5.5% for your interest rate through Milestone. Whereas if you go with another builder, I know D.R. Horton is right down the road, they're offering 3.99%. So it's something to be aware of. Now I think Milestone has a better reputation and has better quality materials than D.R. Horton, but you know, I've also sold D.R. Horton homes. If they pass the inspection, you know, it's a good house, right? Regardless of, you're not gonna have the highest quality material for your countertop, right? So something to be aware of, if you are interested in interest rates being the lowest possible, Milestone may not be the right fit for you. $65 is the HOA fee for this neighborhood, and that's basically just getting you the large pool here. And then they'll keep up the common areas. The tax rate is 3%, which is quite high. When I spoke with a sales rep, she said, the tax rate's 2.21%. Oh, but with the PID, it's 3. I was like, okay, so it's 3. It is higher, but for homes that are priced in the 300,000s, a slightly higher tax rate it's not gonna make too much of a difference in your monthly mortgage payment. They have about 3 to 4 more years building out here. They've been building for 2 years. And they have 3 different models, 3 different types of homes, I should say. They have alleyway parking, 40-foot lots. They have regular front parking, 40-foot lots, and then they have 50-foot lots. So I'm gonna try and see if we can see all 3 of those so you can get a sense of the difference of those. But yeah, I think that's basic overview of what you can expect from Porter Country. So I'll see you over at house number 1. So the first house we're checking out is their Decker floor plan. This is a 1,534 square foot home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1-story, and it's listed at $299,999. I'm just gonna call it a $300,000 home, okay? So I'll pan around so you can see kind of where we are on the street here. Decently wide street, so you can see plenty of space for parking either side with traffic going through. This particular home is one off the corner lot here. Let's check it out. So we have this front garden area. And I'm curious because I'm seeing wooden fences on these 2 homes next to us, but not here. I'm wondering if they're installing that later or maybe those specific homeowners chose to do that. Regardless, that definitely looks like an option to have a fenced in front yard, which is nice, pretty rare in Texas. Have this kind of odd shaped front patio. You wouldn't ever really use that space. And this long patio here. Beautiful stone exterior. Pretty basic door, nothing too exciting about the door. Going into the home, go directly into the living area. To the left here are all 3 bedrooms. So here's the primary. No fan installed, which surprised me. I don't know why they didn't do that. You can install your own fan, but it's typical for builders to add that for the primary at least. There's a large walk-in shower, natural light coming in, which I really like. Separated sinks. Here's your closet space. It's okay, pretty basic, super narrow door. There's enough space for one person to walk through. There we have linen closet, pretty deep. And then the toilet with more natural light coming in. This home, to me, is a great option for a first-time homeowner. It's $300,000, 1534 square feet. It's pretty good for your first house, in my opinion. And you're getting a 3-bed, decent amount of space. So, small family, maybe you're planning on having kids in the future, maybe you don't want kids and you just want to get out of an apartment. This is a really good option. But pretty basic, right? So this is a customizable builder. This one, very basic. They're doing very basic tile on the floor and the same tile, not going all the way to the ceiling. I do like that we have natural light coming in there too. And then more linen space. Just the 1 sink for the second bath. And then here's the 3rd bedroom. Decent size, not massive, and pretty basic closet space there. We have luxury vinyl plank flooring everywhere except the bedrooms, which I do prefer. And then here's the kitchen. The kitchen really impressed me when I walked in and turned the lights on. There's way more space than I was expecting for a home at this price. So we have a large single basin sink looking out to the living room, ton of countertop space in this extra spot here, and then tons of cabinet space too. Another thing that I really appreciate with Milestone, it's a small thing, but they always do a soft close hinge. And so I've gone to so many builders that are much higher priced than this, and nobody does this. I don't know why builders just don't put this in, but any Milestone home I've gone to, they all have the slow close hinges, which is it's just nice. You can just throw it shut and it's gonna be silent when it closes. Here, I wouldn't call this it's a formal dining, I guess on paper. It's kind of just a darkened corner away from everything, so you can use this as maybe more storage. You can put shelving here, have more of an open pantry, or if you have dogs, you can put the crates over here. You have kids, a little playpen over here, however you want to use it. This leads to your back patio. And so it is a covered back patio, decent size. We do have a gas outlet, which I was surprised to see that too. So you can connect your grill to that and not ever buy a propane tank ever again. Side of the yard is rocks, so you don't have to do any upkeep there. Maybe the occasional pulling of weeds. And then this is your yard. Decent amount of yard space if you have a small dog. Bigger dog, they're probably gonna want something a little bit more, go on more walks with them, but easy amount of space to maintain. And then just so you can see, as I said, this is an alley entrance. And so this is what it looks like. Now, they're still building, right? So it'll be just more garages facing you down here, but it's just a small alley. No one can park here. And you would come in private alleyway and then into your 2-car garage. So that's the cheapest option. The other homes we're checking out today are all gonna be just more traditional single-family homes without an alley entrance. I don't really have an opinion either one way or the other with the alleyway entrance. As long as there's street parking in the front for when I have visitors, that's all I care about, and we have that here. It's not a condo or anything like that. Here is your pantry. Utility room, pretty basic. And then your garage, which is where you'll be coming in most of the time. And so with the garage, you can see we have the tankless water heater, water softener loop, irrigation system, and then a couple small electrical outlets. We don't have an EV charger outlet or anything like that. Pretty good space though. You can always tell by the wall to the garage door, because all the garage doors are the same width, right? So that is showing me it's about 1.5 feet pretty good. I've seen homes that are almost touching the wall, so good amount of space. And then the attic, which I'm not gonna go into today. So there you have it. That's the Decker floor plan. That's their lowest priced floor plan available here. So now we're gonna go check out a 40-foot lot that's front facing, that doesn't have the alley. So I'll see you over there. So the next house we're checking out is one of their 40-foot lots, but front load, so we don't have the alleyway on this one. This is their Carson floor plan. It's a 1,700 square foot home, 2-story, 3-bed, 2.5 bath, and this one's listed at $319,999, so it's $320,000, okay? So I can pan around so you can see kind of where we're at. Very new construction area, not a lot built out here, but this street at least is built, so this side of the street. So your two neighbors, not gonna be hearing banging in here. We have brick exterior for this one with that gray hardy plank up top. I love this front patio, way bigger front patio than the previous home. Like the slanted ceiling too, it's a little bit different. Hopefully you're friends with this neighbor because you are right next to them if you are hanging out in your front patio, but yeah, I like that. And then they're still keeping the rocks on the side of the home, so no upkeep in that regard. Still very boring doors. We haven't changed there. And then we have LVP flooring again. This one, they went with a lighter color. Right off the bat, we have our half bath. Just a pedestal sink, pretty typical half bath. Nothing too special about it. Then this leads into our living area. Decent size. Here we have storage underneath the stairs because it is a 2-story, so you're gonna have that extra storage. Doesn't go too deep though. And then here is the kitchen. The kitchen, I like the look of it. I like the look of this granite countertop, this green cabinets that they have going on, but it is smaller than the other home. And the other home was $20,000 less. There are less cabinets to store things. Way less space for actually putting things on the countertop. So that kind of surprised me. More typical dining area right off to the side of the kitchen, kind of more open, the floor plan in general. And then the garage is basically the exact same as the previous one, same amount of space, same things in it. But as I said, it is what they call a front load, so traditional home where the garage faces out to the street. And so what that does for you is it gives you a much bigger backyard because you're not having to share it with your driveway. So much bigger backyard. If that's important to you, then these are definitely the way to go with these. It's still keeping the rock on the side of the house, so it's literally just this kind of square backyard that you need to upkeep. Covered back patio, decent amount of space, still with a gas outlet, which I really appreciate them doing that. And then you have room, probably if I moved in here, I would want to expand the patio a little bit further out. Yeah, much nicer with that backyard. So we're gonna go upstairs. And what you may have noticed is we haven't gone to the primary bedroom. That's because it's upstairs. To me, that's a big problem because with homes, you can change a lot of things. If you don't like the cabinets, you can rip them out, put new ones in. You can paint them. If you don't like the flooring, you can put new flooring in. If you don't like the lights or the fans, you can take them out, put your own thing in, right? You can change whole rooms. Say you hate the layout of the kitchen, rip it all out, put a wall somewhere. You can do a lot of things to a house. What you can't change is a primary bedroom upstairs. And so this is something that, you know, for me, I swear I'm active. I run a lot, but every time I walk upstairs and talk, I run out of breath. So for me, I don't want to walk up and down stairs every day to get to my bedroom, okay? More importantly, when I sell the house, that's going to limit, it's going to lower the number of prospective buyers in the market because some people just do a hard no. I'm not looking at any homes that don't have the primary on the main floor. So that's a big issue with this floor plan, in my opinion. Obviously, people are moving in, people are buying them, but my personal opinion is primary on the floor, on the first floor, is really important, not just for the way I want to live my life, but also when it comes to selling the house. Okay, that's my rant over for the primary upstairs. Moving on, we have utility room, which they don't have a shelf here. Instead, they have shelving built behind the door. which I kind of prefer because it just automatically hides all of your cleaning stuff. And then it's just gonna be a clean look of washer dryer here, and that's it. I also like the upgraded tile they've put in this specific home. And so you can see floor to ceiling for the guest bathroom, and just more interesting tile design throughout, keeping the green cabinets up here too. That looks great. Here are the two guest bedrooms. Everything upstairs is carpeted. Not a big fan of this carpet either. It's kind of browny yellowy. Not sure why they went with this one, but it is what it is. Something to remember, again, this is not a spec builder, so meaning you can customize. And they're gonna be building out here for the 3 or 4 more years. These rooms are kind of small. So you can choose different carpet, you can choose whatever you want. There's a bunch of things you can customize if you go that to be built route. Typically to be built, you're looking at about 6 to 8 months to build the home. Okay, so keep that in mind if you are thinking, I'm leasing and I wanna do my first house, but I wanna do it customized, because it really doesn't cost that much more if you do it that way. Just kind of plan that out of, okay, about 8, 9 months, 10 months if you wanna be safe before your lease ends. Then we need to start talking with the builder about picking a lot and doing all the customizations. So here's the upstairs loft. Again, lots of natural light. They did a good job of putting a bunch of windows in here. You have your own upstairs thermostat, so you have one for downstairs and upstairs, and then where you can change your filter. I didn't see this in the last house, so I'm thinking that was in the attic, which means in the last house you would have to go up and down the attic every 3 months to change your air filter, which kind of sucks. So it's nice, it's right there. Here's the primary. And then coming into the bathroom, dual vanity sink, still keeping the same cabinetry. Behind the door, we have this built-in shelving. And then really nice, I really like that tile, kind of that textured tile squares for that walk-in shower. Same tile we saw in the guest bathroom. It looks good. This closet is ridiculous in a bad way. So if you're single, cool. If you have anyone else that's sharing the space with you, not cool. But I will say, I buried the lead because they do have this extra space over here. It's just weird that it's in the corner away from the bathroom. So you do have an extra closet, and it's bigger, but it's really far away from getting ready in the morning, then you have to walk over here to get your clothes. It's kind of an awkward setup in my opinion. But yeah, there you have it. That was the Carson floor plan at one of their 40-foot front load lots. Now we're gonna end the video with one more tour. We're gonna check out their largest lots that are also front load. They're 50-foot lots. So I'll see you over there. So the final house we're touring today is one of their 50-foot front load lots. This is the Hamlin floor plan. It's 2,159 square feet, 4-bed, 3 full bath, and this one's listed at $384,999, so $385,000. Pan around so we can see where we're at. So all the homes are in this area of Porter Country have that front load. Very long driveway. Right off the bat, you can fit 3 cars back to bumper on here, so very long. All brick exterior. Looks great. Not as big of a front patio as the other one, but still usable space out here. Again, Milestone does not care about front doors having frosted glass windows or anything cool. So very different right off the bat. Tall ceilings, we have these arched doorways. To the left, we have first bedroom area. Interesting bedroom. I like the arched walls there. And then full bath right next to it. So that could be a great mother-in-law suite, just guest wing of the house. Pretty basic with the tile choices they used with this one. And then you have this kind of vestibule area. This leads to the garage. Garage is a little bit bigger, so about the same width to width, but then you have this little extra space right here behind the door. Yeah, pretty good sized garage. Best one I've seen today. And then this opens up to the main living area. To the left, we have a study. So we do have French doors. A beautiful view of what will be the side of a house. So not the greatest view for a study, but you don't have to use it as a study, just a gaming room, a play area for the kids, just something a little bit different. And that's something to remember is, at least in Texas, if it says it's a 4-bedroom, bedroom just means it has a closet. So this has a study, so it's important to like look at photos or speak with a realtor, speak with a sales rep to know if it has a study or not, because they're not going to include that in the amount of bedrooms, okay? So here is the primary, ton of space, the largest living area by far of any of the homes we've seen. Really like this living area. Off to the side here, we have our utility room, pretty basic, just the shelf above. And then 2 guest rooms, pretty good size, I'll say, and they have that vaulted ceiling also. It's number 1, and number 2. Same closet space. Here we go into the guest bathroom, 2 sinks, which is nice. Not all the homes had that, but very basic with the tile. Again, not going to the ceiling. It just saves on cost. I love how open this floor feels. And then it's still a huge area going into the living room. I much prefer this kitchen to the previous one, so way more countertop space. You know, have room for a fridge here. I don't think Milestone offers fridges, but that's something we can negotiate to where financially you're saving money to where getting a fridge would cost the same. Corner pantry right here, good amount of space there. The classic subway tile look, and then they went with a gray look for their cabinets. The backyard, a little disappointing to me. So, and it's not just because you have the barking dog. Very narrow, super narrow. So you would put probably a couple of chairs there looking out, and that's it. You don't really have space to kind of have a seating area looking into one point. And then this slopes down pretty badly. Now that's great for, you know, I'd rather the water drain away from my house than live down there and potentially have it pooling by my foundation. But if I'm playing with my dog out here, it's just, I don't know, it's constantly fighting not falling down that slope. It's not preferred. So I think I prefer the last home's backyard the best, just flat, square backyard. But you can tell this one's definitely bigger. The 50-foot lot, it is wider. I'll stop upsetting that dog. And then finally we have the primary. Primary, no carpet in this primary, and they do add a ceiling fan, very fancy. Pretty good sized primary. And then this one does come with soaking tub and the walk-in shower. You do lose quite a bit of space because of that tub. And so I think this looks great. I don't like it from a utility standpoint. I'd rather have a larger walk-in shower or a larger tub. I'm 6'1", I would not be able to fit in that comfortably. So yeah, not a big fan of this, but again, they're not a spec builder. I think I've said that 6 times in this video. So what I would do if I was thinking of moving to this area, because it works well for my budget and commuting up to Austin, I would do the to-be-built route so that I can get exactly what I want for my primary bathroom, and then just all the things. Like this lot placement I don't like because of that slope backyard, so I would pick a different lot maybe on the other side of the street that's more flat. And then I'd pick certain features that are important to me. Might raise the price a hair, but you're living here for years and years. It's important you get something that works for you. So yeah, I wouldn't personally go for this, but some people would. I do like the large frosted glass. That's in a ton of natural light. Still have the dual vanity sinks. Toilet out in the open, which is surprising. Usually toilets are behind a door nowadays. And then pretty good sized closet space. Yeah, not bad for Milestone. Milestone typically just doesn't have huge closet spaces. So there you have it. That's the Hamlin. They have quite a few different floor plans. I think the model home floor plan they don't have available right now. If you did like that one, the sales rep said they're going to come back out in about October, November of this year. But as far as Porter Country, kind of my final thoughts on this area, I think it has a great range of products depending on who's buying and for what purpose. So if you're a first-time homeowner, or you're renting right now and you just want to start paying off a mortgage and building equity in home instead of just paying the rent of someone else's mortgage, the $300,000 ones are really good value. I bought my first house with my wife at $319,000, and it was smaller than that house and did not have a lot of the features it had. And it was a 3-bedroom. My starter home was a 2-bedroom, so really impressed with the starter home. I'm also impressed with this one. I don't like the lot per se, but this is a ton of space for only being $385,000. Having the 4 bedrooms plus the study and it being a 1-story, so you don't have to go up and down stairs. I like how they build out their kitchens with the cabinets being soft close. And then you have different options to where you can do the alleyway if you're trying to save maybe $20,000, go for that cheaper version of the 40-foot lot. There's just a lot of options out here. So if you are someone considering moving to Buda and you want to move to Buda, find something in the 300,000s, and you're thinking of commuting up to Austin, which most people would be moving out here, this is a really good option for you. Being 5-8 minutes away from I-35, you have that option. More often than not, you'll probably choose to take the back roads, and so you're already by the back roads, which will make the commuting a lot more easier, maybe to get up to 183, wherever you need to go to. And then if you need to commute south, that's easy, right? I'll tell you, the traffic is bad getting into Austin, but if you're one of the few people who live in Buda and trying to go south in the morning, you're good. That side of the highway is nice and open. So anyway, I hope this helped y'all kind of explore Porter Country with me. If you are considering buying in Buda, you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. All of that can be found in the description below. I'd love to help you and your family explore. There's so much new construction and then so much resale that we can get a great deal in Buda, Kyle, San Marcos, South Austin. So reach out if I can help in any way. And until next time, I hope to see you guys around town.